Make sure that if you are on an enrollment platform, there's some way that you can identify commissionable versus non-commissionable. You can still enroll members in those plans. You're not going to be compensated. It's hard to run a business if you're not getting paid for it. This isn't an evil plan by the carriers to just cut commissions and take away from agents. They need to rewrite their portfolio, just how they're positioned nationwide. Hey guys, Curt Graham here from Elite Insurance Partners. Wanted to come back with another industry update. This time, it's not really about a regulation or anything like that. I'm talking about commission today, specifically Medicare Advantage commission, and not going to completely hide the lead on you. I am going to be going over UnitedHealthcare changes as well as Humana changes. You know what? I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. If you don't want to watch the whole video, you can read this. It gives you a broad understanding, but I'll explain it a little bit more in this video. If I jump back in to the beginning of where I wanted to have this conversation go from, it's right here. It's the massive growth that we've seen in the Medicare Advantage market in the last 10 years, 16 million to 33 million, more than doubling the overall number of members in just 10 years. It's been a huge growth market. More than half of all members or all Medicare beneficiaries are now on a Medicare Advantage plan at 54%. That's in 2024. We saw more growth this year. Medicare Advantage enrollment is expected to fall in 2026 as insurers cut back on unprofitable plans. This is one of the first times. If we look at this chart, it's been nothing but up, up, up. But we're expecting a reduction this year. One of the ways that they're trying to make this reduction happen is insurers have cut broker commissions on 15 to 20% of their plans to discourage enrollment in unprofitable plans. I'm actually going to show you that one insurer has actually cut on more than 15 to 20% of their plans. If I jump down here, Medicare enrollment is poised to fall for the first time in nearly 2 decades, according to CMS. The agency estimates that enrollment in the program will be 34 million, and they said 2025. I think that's supposed to be 2026, because if I jump over here, down from nearly 35 million this year, I think it's a typo, CNBC. So that being said, one of the things that they talk about in this article is what I just pointed out with that graph. After chasing growth in Medicare Advantage market for more than a decade, health insurers have faced shrinking profits in their Medicare Advantage programs. Over the last 2 years, members tally higher than expected medical costs, as well as new regulation pressure on government reimbursement rates. The larger insurers are now cutting back on unprofitable and exiting some markets altogether. This is true. Now, in this article, UnitedHealthcare, Humana, Aetna, scaling back on Medicare Advantage plans. They've got a quote down here, or here's a little piece on how they're scaling back. UnitedHealthcare, they're offering in 1 fewer state and 109 fewer counties. Humana offering plans in 3 fewer states, 194 fewer counties. Aetna, they're offering in 1 fewer state and 100 fewer counties. It's not complete overlap. They're pulling out in different areas. In a lot of cases, you can see where UnitedHealthcare pulls out. Humana is still strong, very well poised. Aetna, same thing. And that kind of can cause some issues for them. So they are taking other ways of getting after that. But I want to go into this article about another scaling back. But we've got a quote here, and this is coming from Bobby Hunter, who's the CEO of government programs at UnitedHealthcare. The combination of CMS funding cuts, rising healthcare costs, and increased utilization have created headwinds no organization can ignore. And when we talk about funding cuts, look at what he says here. It's estimated that by 2026, government reimbursement will have fallen 20% from 2023 levels. That's huge. 20% in overall reimbursement that's a big part of it. Now, one of the ways that these cuts are happening is not necessarily on funding levels, but it's with this pesky little thing right here, which has been very important for plans, very important for members. But this is an older article about the Medicare Advantage and Part D star ratings from 2024, but it shows you where the cuts are coming into play and how we as brokers are having an impact on these carriers. So in 2022, 5-star plans, there were 74 of them. 2023, 57. 2024, 38. And in 2025, only 7 plans have a 7, or only 7 plans have a 5-star rating. Now, star ratings are a good way for members to be able to evaluate the quality of a plan, but it's also a big way that carriers receive compensation. It's absolutely important to them on how they're compensated. I think, we're talking billions of dollars. Humana, several other carriers have had different lawsuits objecting to major star rating cuts. And a lot of that comes from high CTMs or complaints to Medicare. So carriers are taking this serious. And recently, Humana had a investor call, and Lisa Stoner, the Vice President of Investor Relations, and Jim Reichten, the CEO, were on a call. This is posted from Humana. This isn't anything private. But a few things that they talked about. He emphasized that their outlook hasn't changed. Their star performance and outlook on AEP are all within the planning scenarios and consistent with our committed, what we committed on Investor Day in June. We believe that our stable MA benefit strategy in 2026 positions us well in several different ways. It improves retention. So they don't want to lose members. If you saw that slide earlier, which I'm going to go into in a second, they don't want to lose members on existing plans. But they also want lower complaints to Medicare, CTMs. Now, as we scroll down to the bottom of this call, and don't worry, I'm going to link to this in the description. You'll be able to read the entire thing yourself, but this is pretty important what I thought. We have several actions to ensure that gross new sales do not outpace our operational capacity to absorb them. So first, turn off new sales commissions on approximately 1/3 of our product. Not 15 to 20%, 1/3 of their product they've turned into non-commissionable. So you need to be looking at those, your PPP that Humana put out, as well as different amendments that came out from UnitedHealthcare, non-commissionable products. There's a bunch of them out there. Second, trim low-performing distribution partners in our network. They suspended a relationship with a large telemarketer and a third-party sales organization with the highest complaints to Medicare. They also termed or suspended more than 2,000 agents from their distribution. This is mainly focused on CTMs. So if an agent had higher than usual CTMs or any CTMs at all, you see agents that only have a few sales under their books, but they got a complaint early on, they might have been suspended or termed, and they're not able to offer Humana this year. So they're taking it very serious. And they're also going to be taking it serious on how they compensate us. So if we look at this, Humana, they turned the H5216 non-commissionable in 2026. What is the H5216? It was one of their most popular plans. I think I heard on one of their webinars that it was their most popular plan benefit code in 2025. It is not going away. They also emphasize that it is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It was a PPO plan. In a lot of cases, that was a give back plan, had solid benefits. Members absolutely love that plan. Now, that plan is non-commissionable. So what do we do with the new people that want to join Humana? Well, they've come out with the H7617 plan. That plan, I didn't add it here, but it is commissionable for new to Humana members. But any existing Humana members that enroll in the H7617 are paid at a reduced comp of approximately 38 to 48% of the Medicare max. It is a flat number. I'm not going to go into the exact dollars and cents for any of these. You can look in your PPP, but it is a reduced rate across the country, depending on what rates are in different states. That's why it's 38 to 48% of Medicare max. So what they don't want to have happening is they don't want people on the H5216 rolling into that H7617 plan. They are very similar to one another, but Humana doesn't want to see that churn. And they've made that clear. I've seen it in emails and I've heard it on webinars. They don't want to see that churn. Watch out for it. They're doing, they want to do right by the members. If they're happy on the plan, keep them on the plan. Don't just roll them for comp. Okay. We've got to do right by our members. We've got to do right by the carriers as well. UnitedHealthcare, they've maintained Medicare max on HMO and SNP plans. So all HMO and SNP plans are full Medicare max comp for both initial as well as renewal commissions. Now, they have released a couple non-commissionable plan lists. On 6/1 of this year and 10/1 of this year, they came out. Once again, check your emails, look for those amendments. Those plans are listed. If you're using an electronic enrollment platform like a Sunfire, Connecture, a lot of times those plans are going to be suppressed, so you can avoid them. But if you're not using one of those platforms, you need to know in your area what's non-commissionable. You can still enroll people in that plan. You can do that as a nice thing, but you're not going to get compensated. You need to be aware of that. You're running a business here, right? Now, for non-SNP PPO plans, so all PPO plans that are not a special need plan, initial/new to Medicare is 60% of the Medicare max. Okay, so what you would normally get for a new to Medicare enrollment, you're getting 60% of that on initial or new PPO enrollment on UnitedHealthcare. If it's a renewal of a UnitedHealthcare member, so they're an existing UHC member, and you enroll them in a PPO plan, then you're going to get 90% of Medicare max renewal. Now, if it's a renewal, so somebody that's already on an MAPD plan, a plan to plan from another carrier, and they're non-UHC, 60% of Medicare max. Okay, so they're crushing the comp down even more for those new. They don't want, they just can't handle the new PPO members. It's harder to administer those plans. They're more expensive with the flexibility with not needing referrals, going in and out of network. It's a more expensive plan. A lot of these carriers are moving more towards the HMO, promoting that, making those benefits stronger, and hoping that people roll into those plans. And they're easier to maintain cost on those plans. So that is a big theme. It's not just from Humana and UnitedHealthcare. I'm not just shouting them out. All carriers I'm seeing across the board are focused on HMO and special needs plans. A big focus this year, it's not on this list, but CSNP, or chronic condition special needs plans, definitely a focus that you need to have this year on these plans. Jump back into UnitedHealthcare. Renewal commission is terminated in the state of Washington on most of their PPO plans. So the PPO plans that went non-commissionable, again, check your email. You should have got this. If you're in Washington State, I can't imagine that you don't know this, but no renewal commissions will be paid on their PPO plans. Those plans are unprofitable for them. They are the largest provider in the state of local PPO plans. And so they are, looking for those members. They didn't want to just term the plans, but they're looking for members to make moves. They've adjusted, the way those plans benefits are acting, and looking to readjust their position in the state of Washington. That was announced on September 25th. So there's announcements that are probably going to be coming down the road here. Last year during AEP, we had announcements of different carriers. I think Aetna made some cuts, Elevance made some cuts, and to plans in terms of making them non-commissionable. So pay attention to your email. Look out for updates from carriers. Make sure that if you are on an enrollment platform, there's some way that you can identify commissionable versus non-commissionable. You can still enroll members in those plans. You're not going to be compensated. It's hard to run a business if you're not getting paid for it. And so make sure you're doing the right thing by the members, but you're also doing the right thing by your business. And this isn't an evil plan by the carriers to just cut commissions and take away from agents. They need to rewrite size their portfolio, just how they're positioned nationwide. Probably got a little bit out over their skis on PPO plans, made the benefits a little too rich. People joined those plans. They were very easy for agents to sell. Oh, you don't need a referral. Don't have to worry about network. You can go both in and out of network. It's easy to explain and for members to understand. And so obviously they became extremely popular. When I first got in the business in 2010, a lot of the PPO plans had a monthly premium. Now we've got PPO plans with givebacks. So the market changed and members changed as well. But just wanted to put this little update out there so everybody understands what's going on. There's more details that are not included in this. I don't think this is comprehensive. Check your contracts. Check the amendments from UnitedHealthcare. Check the PPP that Humana put out. Make sure you're aware of everything that's going on in your area so that you can provide the right service for your members, and you're going to be here as a good business for years to come. All right, guys, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can send me an email. Email's in there. You can join our Facebook group. That's linked below. Love to talk to you and go over different things. Hope this was helpful. If you got any questions, again, reach out. Thanks.